Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. Reviews today from The Wall. She instantly regrets destroying her marriage of 12 years. Every time. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. Let's get that. Chow time.
I don't know who needs this reminder, but apparently a lot of y'all do.
Oh, goody. I love reminders. Let's hear this one.
I am not a man.
I doubt that one is going to hear much disagreement on that.
I am not assigned male at birth.
Sure. Okay. Why not?
Go
I am an
on.
assigned female at birth, femme, non-binary person.
Of course.
Okay.
When exactly did they start assigning that at birth?
If there is a choice between a man and a bear, I'm the one that gets to choose.
In some instances, I'm starting to feel really sorry for that bear.
Yeah.
Also, so
We never said you couldn't choose. Where is this oppression coming from, lady?
it's not a choice.
Wait, so there's no freedom of choice anymore? Oh dear.
Stop fucking saying, oh my god, I would totally choose the bear over you, just because I'm standing up for liberation. Okay?
So much for liberation if there's no freedom of choice.
Yeah.
I guess they must have changed the definition of that word, too.
You don't get to choose between me and the bear. Okay? I get to choose between a man and a bear. And if anything, I am the fucking bear that will tear apart the man who hurts you.
Oh, gee, don't I feel safe now?
I'm
Do you understand?
confused.
Like, and the fact that men do not understand why we would choose the bear,
We? Who precisely here is this we?
Right?
Maybe I missed something.
literally just proves everything. Stop treating me like I'm a man.
Indeed. And I'll just say this. I personally treat people how they act. So there's that.
You a bitch!
Up, you crazy bitch whore!
I'm curious how these people want to choose between being a woman, a man, or a bear when they can't even decide what they are. Honestly, after male or female, I group all these people who identify as so many things together as extraterrestrials since we haven't seen one yet, and that option is still vacant. The irony here is that they want to fight against men, speak badly about men, and blame men for everything bad, but when they have a problem, they go to a man. I assure you, when their car has issues, they go to a man. I assure you that when their house has a problem, they go to a man. I would have said they turned to their father for help, but seeing how things ended up, it's possible there wasn't a father around.
Of course.
Then they say that having a man in the house isn't necessary, but when they aren't there, look at how things turn out for them.
Today marks 1 year since my divorce was final. Wait for my pre-workout tingles to kick in while we talk about it. Some things that I did not expect to experience, besides all the sad.
You need pre-workout tingles to go work out? Is that how it works for you guys? Because I just look at my time and it says 12 noon and I just go work out.
Things like the depression and anxiety and grief that come with divorce that I talk about in my other videos, but some other things that I didn't expect. Number one, having to reparent my inner child that I had no idea was going to come out after divorce.
What?
There is a lot of parts.
Oh, because you became a whore and started sleeping around like you would if you were younger without any repercussions. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's my personality that I had to suppress to keep the peace in a very high demand religion, very intense, radically
exactly what I
religious marriage. And so when I got divorced, a lot of those parts of my personality just started popping up because it had the space and room to just come out. And I had to navigate, like, is this part of my personality? Is this a trauma response? Is this just like my inner child rebelling? And having to reparent my inner child while navigating trauma was like a mind F. Like, they don't prepare
The word salad that they just go through. What the fuck are you talking about?
you for that. That was not in the handbook that I was given. There is no handbook on that. That was wild.
Just say it as it is. I had whore tendencies. I wanted to be a whore. My religious marriage did not allow me to be a whore. And once I got out of it, I became a major whore. Easy peasy. That's all you had to say.
Second, tearing down the walls of this very like rigid cinder block box I was forced to live in for 12 years was really weird. I expected to just feel like a feeling of like release and freedom, which I did feel, but it was also felt with very simultaneous like confusion, because I know what life in the box looks like. It's predictable, it's comfortable. I know what this looks like, and to have those walls be gone and to have to find my own box feels a little like you're lost and confused, because
But you
although
wanted
it was
this.
toxic for your mind, body, spirit, soul, all the things, and it wasn't where you were supposed to be, at least it was predictable. And now it's gone. So you have to figure out what your boundaries are outside of that box.
I don't know what people are smoking in the morning, but it must be good.
Hopefully some
All
good
she worried
ganja.
about was how to find her inner child. How many men in this country would love to be in your position, when most are just thinking about how to recover financially? What is this about the box? If what happened was that you didn't get the house, that's it. Why are you complaining about the block you should have lived in for 12 years? But if you had gotten it, I'm sure you would be overjoyed. That's why she tells us she thought she would feel a sense of liberation. But honey, that only happens when you win the divorce, because we all know that divorce happiness is always funded by the ex-husband.
Always.
This is why we always see that before the divorce, they are the person who loves you the most, but afterward, they are your worst enemy. So if you commit the stupid idea of getting married, always have a prenup.
Another thing that was freaking weird was I got married at 19. I was a child when I got married. My prefrontal
This prefrontal cortex comes up almost every dang time. You're able to decide to do OnlyFans. You're able to decide to go to corn. You're able to decide to be a prostitute. You're able to decide to go to war. But yet, when you decide to get married, your prefrontal cortex is just not developed.
cortex was still mid-development at the time I got married. If you are not allowed to rent a car, you should not be allowed to get married. But don't even get me started on that. Anyways, so I got divorced at like 30, 31. And so never in my adult life, or really my entire life, except for that 1 year in college that I wasn't married or didn't live with my parents or wasn't married, I had to make decisions by myself, which is totally fine. I have no problem making decisions for myself. Love it, no issue. However, I've never had to make a decision where it didn't greatly affect somebody that I was doing life with. I've never had to go to make a decision and be like, okay, so how is this going to affect this person? I'm going to make a decision. How am I going to pitch this? How's it going to help them, hurt them, benefit them, stress them out in some way? So when I'd go to make a decision, I was like, okay, this actually doesn't affect anybody but me. And that is a weird place to be. That messed with me.
Most of your decisions are going to affect someone. Majority of them. Very few that you can decide and do that isn't going to affect anybody in the world.
So much, let me tell you. I could write a novel about how weird this first year has been, but let me just tell you this, okay? You're going to whip through a million different versions of yourself in this first year, and that is okay. Give yourself the space and grace to do it, okay? You are going to be navigating just a million different versions of yourself, grief.
Listening to this girl, it really makes me think about my ex-wife slightly. Not that I want to bring her up, but it's just, this is about the age we got together. This is, we separated around that time in her age too. So is this how she's feeling right now?
Loss, sadness, all while trying to rebuild a new life and keep your kids happy and healthy.
Oh, we don't got
and
kids,
it's going to
though.
feel so overwhelming and so hard. But I want you to know you are not alone. There is light. There is love. There is an end to the tunnel. Healing isn't going to happen overnight. In fact, there is no destination to healing. It's going to be daily practice. But just know that you are not alone. You can do this.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no.
That's why women are the most selfish beings in the world. They only think about me, 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 because she says she had never made that decision before. For God's sake, what you did was destroy your husband's and children's lives for, let me guess, your own happiness. Remember, marriage is only so that the woman is happy. As soon as the woman is not happy, the marriage is over. Who cares if the husband doesn't want a divorce? Who cares about how the kids feel? Who cares what the parents think? What matters is what they want. That's why it always starts with things like, I was 9.
This is why I think the social stigma of getting divorced by your community is a big thing too, because your community will shame you and shun you because you decided to divorce for whatever reason or for a frivolous reason, and makes it so people rethink it a little bit more. Should I just leave my family and break it apart and everybody's gonna shame me? That's how I see it though.
19 when I got married. My brain wasn't fully developed. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, right. You didn't know what you were doing when you got married, celebrated a wedding, wrote your vows, but when you were intimate with the man, your brain was developed enough for that. That's why nowadays a man has to protect his assets, so she doesn't take what you've worked for, like this woman tried. This is the advice given to this man in the next video.
A man wants to buy a house in his parents' names so it won't be connected to his wife in any way, and she can't forgive him. The wife posted to Reddit saying that they've been married for 2 years, her husband runs a business, and she's a stay-at-home mom to their child. They had been talking about buying a house, and she overheard her husband on the phone with his father talking about putting the house in his father's name. That's suspicious. She found out later that his friend had advised him to put the house in his parents' name and then have his parents transfer it to him later, so that the property wouldn't be legally connected to her during their marriage. She was, rightfully, furious and heartbroken. She says she caused a scene and that the house buying plan was postponed. Her husband apologized and tried to make things right by taking her for a shopping trip to buy things, but she's still sad and can't forgive or forget. Commenters on Reddit were pretty blunt, telling her that her husband was hiding information from her and destroying her trust. And many suggested that this was a symptom of financial abuse and that she should get her financial house in order, get a job.
Financial abuse? Really? You have a house to live in. What does it matter that it's in your name or not? This is just such a greedy way to look at things.
And lawyer up. Financial abuse includes tactics to conceal information and limit a victim's access to assets, like a house, according to the NNEDV. Financial abuse makes it difficult for a partner to leave a relationship, and when they finally do escape, they are often left with no assets, and it's very difficult for them to rebuild. It's likely worth this woman's time to consult an attorney and find out what her rights are in her state. And as far as rebuilding trust, it's going to take a whole lot more than just a shopping trip.
I have two opinions on this. First, putting your house in your parents' name can be beneficial when trying to protect your assets from a woman, but it's not risk-free. If you're an only child with responsible parents and a good mother, it might be a good idea. But if you have siblings, leaving everything in your father's name, knowing that everything has to be divided equally when they pass away, even with legal documents, is risky. There are some pretty lousy siblings, especially when you're doing well.
Okay, this lousy sibling thing. Not so much in my family, my cousins and aunts and uncles, but everybody around us. A lot of families around us, we're big into life insurance. All of us have life insurance. And when somebody passes, oh my God, the fangs come out between a lot of these family members. Not my family members again, but a lot of other family members. The siblings will tear each other to pieces over this $500,000 $1 million life insurance policy. And all the assets, they just can't get along ever. When money comes involved, even with its when money becomes involved, even when it's family, it almost always causes issues.
And they aren't. Or parents who don't know how to manage their finances and spend the money as soon as they have it. So I recommend thinking this through carefully. I'm a supporter of prenuptial agreements or making legal agreements in marriage. If you get married without assets or with a woman who contributes...
See, I do agree with the woman a little bit because they're married already. They're married already. Your assets are tied now. Everything after that should be tied, in my opinion. But beforehand, if you bought the house, then I have no issues. You can buy it in your parents' name. You can do these things. But I do agree that it's a betrayal.
...contributes financially, it would be best to make legal separation agreements because, in my opinion, this man can say goodbye to his marriage. As I said, if you got married without protecting yourself, the best thing is to make legal agreements and keep believing your marriage will last. Because in this man's situation, there's no way it will end well. Otherwise, watch the next video about the cost of divorce in this country.
It takes 2 minutes to get married in the system and about 2 years to get divorced, if not longer. If you don't know, it's all a sham. It's all a scam. I'm one of the rare ones that actually initiated the divorce. Usually it's the other way around. And I had a lawyer. She had a lawyer. And we ended up settling. But I settled without my lawyer, and I'll tell you in a bit why. My thing is this. If we were going to settle, why drag it out for 2 years? Why? So the two lawyers could keep making money, that's why. So they can bill each of us for talking to us, for sending us an email, for sending a fax, for sending some email to each other, right? My initial lawyer quoted me a price, ended up charging me like 3 to 4 times, which is totally wrong. I'm not going to badmouth him, whatever. It is what it is. Like I told the judge, I'm never getting married again, because he told me yesterday, you can get married tonight. And I told him straight up, Judge, I will never get married again. With a straight face, like it wasn't a joke. Just to shut him down and let his buddies know that I'm not falling into the system again. Whatever. I'm just saying that just to say that. But we ended up settling. I let go of my lawyer because he was too slow. He wasn't doing anything for me. He wasn't even negotiating. The other side sent me some outrageous settlement agreement. Outrageous. And this guy didn't even flinch. He didn't even say anything. I let him go. And I said, you know what? Somehow I'll figure this out. Luckily, the other side wanted to hurry up and settle. So they sent me a 30-page document. I read it over. Whatever I didn't agree with, I sent it back with revisions. And we went back and forth like 6 times. I ended up reading that document like 6 times, which is like a half a novel.
Jeez.
And
30 pages.
I was happy with everything because I feel like I'm good. I don't have any obligations. And my children are taken care of. And I'm out clean. No obligations, no nothing. Whatever I make now is mine, and that's it.
It's good.
So, this system needs an overhaul.
It does.
Because it's not right at all. You understand? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But at the end, the judge told me of all the cases I've heard relating to this type of matter, said, Chris, you're the most professional that has come here. And the other lawyer commended me for, my communication style and how we got things done. So it's over.
I must say that going through a divorce without a lawyer is a terrible idea. If there isn't much to lose or the marriage isn't very long, maybe it's not a big deal. But if you have a lot of assets, you should change your lawyer, not go without one. No soldier goes to war without his rifle. Now, what he says is true. There are lawyers who drag out the process just to make you spend all your money, which is why many people...
Why I just signed everything. I just wanted out after she wanted out. I just signed whatever was needed to be signed so I didn't have to pay alimony. So whatever she wanted, she got. I didn't care. But look at me now. I do well. I make more money than I've ever done. I have more savings in my bank account than I've ever had. It might seem like a big loss in the beginning. Hell, it actually is a huge loss in the beginning of time, effort, money, your feelings, emotions. But in the end, us men almost always fare better. As long as we, again, I always say it, stumble forward and stay confused. Just keep going forward, guys. Keep learning. Keep trying to do better. Keep trying to make more money. Keep trying to find a better job. Keep trying to get better skills. Just because you were ahead and then you got knocked down 4 pegs back now doesn't mean you can't get further ahead afterwards.
People end up ruined by divorce. It's not always because of what they lose, but because of attorney fees. But here's a trick. There's an artificial intelligence app called AI Lawyer, where you can use ChatGPT to read a contract and tell you all the clauses that affect you. This isn't paid promotion. I'm giving you options in case you find yourself without a lawyer. But I agree with him. Getting married only takes an hour, but getting divorced takes years. This system is abusive towards men. If you didn't protect yourself from the start, getting out of this contract with the devil takes a long time and is very difficult. That's why I don't recommend getting married. But if you do, having a prenuptial or marital agreement shortens the process significantly.
So me and the wall are very similar in how we think. Tell the truth, again, I'm always advocating towards families, advocating towards having kids. But I understand all of this, guys. I understand that laws are against us. Unless you're gonna, go to another country or so, we're pretty fucked here. So yes, prenuptial agreement would be the best way to protect yourself. Yes, it doesn't protect yourself against, the children aspects of things, but it's the best you can do. And if it's where you want to live here in the United States and you still want to, try to have a family, it's the best suggestion that me and him can give you guys.
Crucial when it comes to saving your neck in a divorce. Be smart, don't get married, but if you do, protect your assets.
Yeah, divorce is no fun at all, but sometimes it's actually the best course of action. When he said the devil, he isn't wrong. They could be the sweetest of angels, and then once that divorce gets initiated, they turn into Beelzebub himself. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Catch you guys next time.